to the MindFire Studio Marketing Automation Platform Overview. My name is Mary Trotta, and I'll be taking you through a 30-minute overview of the studio and the MindFire services. Just a little background on MindFire. We are a technology company. We're based in Irvine, California, and we offer a cloud-based solution. We've been servicing thousands of solution partners over the years in just about every industry that you can think of. We offer not only great technology, but incredible strategy support. We work with you on sales, marketing support. We can work with you on helping you go win business with the platform. And in the case that you need our help to actually build campaigns for you, we have a full professional services department as well. So that's our basic background, just to give you an idea of some of the different types of accounts. There's some recognizable names here that you can see that have relied on the MindFire platform for their marketing needs. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. To give you an overview, MindFire Studio is a multi-channel, multi-touch marketing automation platform. And it's going to allow you to visually create highly personalized marketing workflows. Within your campaigns, you can pull in elements like direct mail, email, social media, text messages, and many more. The beauty of it is it allows you to lay out these campaigns and then leverage triggers to automate drip and nurture sequences. So based on how people are responding or not responding to a particular touch, you can determine what happens next. We also have lead scoring built in to help you quantify the heat of a lead, and we've got really awesome visual reporting and analytics. The last thing here, my title is It's a Platform. So what really sets us apart is the ability to use not only the tools that we have built in for you and the channels that we have built in, but we have the ability to connect to any third-party system or application. So if you think about different tools your clients might be using, maybe you've got your own email platform that you'd want to plug in and not use ours. That would be an example. So we have ultimate flexibility to connect from Studio to any outside system. That might be a CRM system, maybe it's a storefront where you want to enable the ordering of campaigns through a web-based portal. We've integrated payment portals, and you can connect to custom databases. Really, the possibilities are limitless. So we've got a feature called Cloud Connect that really gives you ultimate flexibility. All right, so there's three main components to Studio. The first is the actual user interface. So this is desktop-based, so you'll download a UI and you'll work locally to set up, create your campaigns. Now, as you're doing that, the system is generating this XML-like language that we call MAML. That stands for Marketing Application Markup Language. And the MAML is the code that the engine understands. So our engine is on the Amazon Web Services Cloud. We've got all of the highest levels of data security certification built in, all of the backup and scalability that you would expect. So it's very solid there. So you work locally, you create, configure your campaign, you publish, and it sends this MAML to the cloud. Now, once you log in, when you open up the studio from your desktop, you're going to see a list of different, what we call sub-accounts. So for service providers, we offer unlimited sub-accounts. This allows you to work with any number of your customers. The sub-account keeps your data separate from each other. It also keeps all their programs and reports separate as well. Now, once you get in there, you'll see here we've got a canvas, and this is where we're going to be laying things out. And so we sort of segregate things into three areas. There's contacts, there's contacts or your target audience. There's outbound, so some of these channels that we have filled in here for outbound. And then we have inbounds, which might be such as a landing page or a website, a microsite. And so what you're going to do is basically drag and drop these elements onto the canvas. You just click on them, drag them over, and then you'll configure the details and rules and schedules of each individual element. And then when you're ready, you'll just hit the publish button here, and that will send this campaign up to the cloud, and the engine will then execute it. So to dig in a little deeper here, let's start with contact management. So on the contact management tab, you'll click there and it'll allow you to import your contacts, You can do that manually via CSV upload. You can do that via an API. So we've got lots of clients who will just drop their contacts into a hot folder or use an API connection to pull details back and forth. We also have the ability to integrate with the CRM system, and then you can have a real-time syncing of contacts going back and forth. Up here, you'll see standard fields and custom fields. This is where you're going to configure an unlimited number of detailed fields that you want to use to track the contacts within that database. You'll also dig in here to determine if you want to use personalized URLs. We have the ability to generate URLs, and by default we use first name and last name for the personalized URL, but you can set up anything you want. And for those of you who are new to the concept of personalized URL, that's basically the ability to create a highly personalized communication, based on the data that you know. So if the name in there is Mary Trotta and you create a URL, you might have marytrotta.mycampaign.com. And when I go visit that URL, the landing page or the microsite that I go to is going to be talking to Mary individually. It'll look at my data and you can display a very customized, personalized, and relevant experience there just for me. All right, so a couple other things I want to dig into here. So we talked about contact management, and now you see here on the canvas, as we start, we're going to be dragging and dropping different elements and planning out our campaign. We also support multiple campaigns under any given program. So in this example here, you'll see I have 3 campaigns here, and it's a trade show example. So I may be doing some pre-show marketing, but under that same program, I'm also going to do some marketing during the show. And then after the show is over, we'll have a plan for following up on people who came by our booth and visited. So I have here a target audience. So in this campaign, I would start by dragging under target audience here. I would drag a target audience onto the canvas, and then we'll determine which different elements do we want or different channels do we want to use. So we can drag direct mail over here. We can drag email, text messages. We have some direct connections here to LinkedIn and Twitter. We also can connect to Facebook and Pinterest and other social media networks, and we can get into more detail on that on a regular demo. All right, so as you lay these out, you're then going to open up each one and configure the settings of it. And so if we take a look at this, each of these elements will have what we call settings, schedules, and events. So for email, for example, you see these tabs here. The settings for the email will be the creative that you want. So you might put in some HTML here. You can get that HTML in there by hand coding it. You can paste it in there by using some outside, HTML editor. You can use the built-in HTML editor if you're not a technical person and you want to be able to create the campaign without writing HTML. You can use our editor or choose from one of the half dozen templates that we have in here for you. So basically, you'll create the message here. You can customize it. You can personalize it by pulling in variables. So if you click on this variables button, you'll see we have contact variables. Those are things like first name, last name, all of the mail merge fields that would come from your contact database. All of those custom and standard fields that are in the contact database would be available for you to pull in and personalize this. We also have what's called content variables. And in the content variable, it allows you to maybe change the version. Maybe if they're female, you want to show this. If they're male, you want to show something else. So we can support both versioning as well as personalizing. And then when I hit the schedule tab here, it's going to open up an area for me to create a schedule. So you're going to pick your time zone, the date that you want to have this email sent, and then we have a repeating feature built in here too that allows you to set up something that maybe a newsletter that's going to go on the first day of every month, or maybe you want to trigger an email based on a specific date in the database. For instance, on someone's birthday, you want to send an email on their birthday, and that would be the schedule we do. And then the last tab there was called events. So under every element, there are different aspects that were or actionable events built in here that we're automatically tracking for you. We're measuring them, and then you can use these to trigger something else to happen. So if we look at these, we're tracking what you sent. Did they open it? Did they opt out of it? Did they click on it? And each of these, if you highlight it, you'll be able to use our lead scoring that's built in. So if you want to give people points for opening an email or clicking on links or landing on pages or filling in data all of those things are automatically tracked within the system, and then you can apply points to those. So over time, as people start collecting points for different behaviors, you can see whether they're a hot or lead or not. Alrighty, so one other thing I wanted to mention on the email is we have a built-in analyzer for your email. And so basically, before you actually launch that email, you can click a button that says Analyze It, and it will give you a view on how your email is going to look on all different types of devices. So you can look at all mobile devices and desktop clients. So you can see, does it look good everywhere? And then it's also going to give you an analysis of your spam test. So, how likely is it going to get delivered? Maybe you use the word free too many times in your email, and that's going to raise a flag that this might be spam. So that's a built-in service. And again, I can show you that in more detail in a live demo. Okay, so moving right along, if we go back to the idea of contacts or target audience, and then we have all of the outbounds that we touched on, and then we have what's called inbounds. So you do have the ability to create and host landing pages or microsites on the MindFire Studio. So you would basically register a domain, point it to our servers, and then inside of the studio, it allows you to drag and drop any number of pages to create your microsite. Anything that can be hosted on the web can be hosted on the MindFire system. So you can do very complex websites if you want any number of pages. You can host video and forms, and that's all possible here. We can also track what's going on third-party websites. So if you have the need to have somebody's communication direct them to an outside website, we can put some code on the third-party website, track what's going on there, and then feed that information back into Studio as well. On my screen here, you'll see a couple of options. So you have, when you're building these pages, if I double-clicked and open that, when you're building the pages, you have an option to either paste HTML in there, so you can use whatever tool you like to create the HTML, like InDesign. We have some HTML editing tools available, so if you're non-technical and you don't know HTML, we can help you with that. We also now have the ability to integrate with outside CMS systems, such as WordPress. And if you see here, it says URL or HTML. So if you want to paste the HTML, you'll click that button and paste it in. If you want to just reference a URL, maybe a WordPress site where your content is sitting, you can just paste the URL in here. Now, I don't know if you can see this or not, but the tabs that are across here, we have preview, so you can preview what your site looks like, and then we have form configuration. So our system will automatically find the code that shows any form fields here, and then you can configure those, whether they're required, whether they're going to be encrypted, whether you're going to give people different points for different things that they're doing on those pages. Let's say you have a question that says, are you interested? And the answers are yes, maybe, and no. Yes might be worth 50 points, maybe 20 points, and no is 0 points. And of course, we can trigger what might happen if they do one of those things. All right, so speaking of triggers, I'm going to go back a couple slides and for a second here, and we are going to look back at our workflow. So on triggers, back to this multi-channel campaign, I have a number of different channels that's sending a message out, and I have it directed to a microsite here. And a trigger is simply created by attaching a contact list to any of these elements, and it's then monitoring the events that we're tracking. So for example, on email, I can create a trigger here that says, what if they don't open the email? So if they don't open the email, then I'm going to send them another email. And you can schedule that based on days, hours, weeks, whatever. So in this example, I have decided if they don't open the email, I'm going to wait 3 days and I'll send them another one. And then we'll monitor that again. If they don't open that email still or again, then next time I'll send them a direct mail piece. So I've got a bunch of touches here to keep triggering and keep dripping on them until they do what I need them to do. If they do click on their Pearl and they go to their microsite and the question there says, are you interested? And they say yes, I created a trigger that says if they say yes, then send them a thank you email. So the system can then trigger a thank you email that can be very detailed, very personalized to them. I can also send a lead alert to maybe the sales rep that's associated with that particular contact. So send them a lead alert that says Mary responded and she's interested. We can also use our Cloud Connect feature that I mentioned earlier, and we can push that information into your CRM system so we can log that information. A couple other items here in terms of ideas for our Cloud Connect. Remember, this is the ability to integrate with third-party systems. Here's a couple of examples here. The local weather. Let's say you want to send an email out and you want to reference the contact's local weather in that email. And you have 10,000 contacts and they live in 10,000 different zip codes. So we could actually use Cloud Connect, and it's a webhook. It'll send us out maybe to a weather app. And so we have it call out, grab the weather based on the zip code that's associated with that contact, bring that in as a variable, pop it into that email, and when you send the email out, it says, this is your local weather. Another example might be they land on a microsite and they just give you their name and their email address, but no phone number or anything else. So we could use Cloud Connect to go call out to maybe a data enhancement service, maybe a USA Data or something like that, and then grab the rest of the missing data, append it, so when they go in, we capture that response. It will go into their contact record in contact management and update those missing fields. So the possibilities are really endless. Those are just a couple of examples for you. Okay, so let me jump back to where we were, and we were here on the microsites. And the last thing I want to bring up here and just briefly cover it is some of the cool ideas for retargeting and using, social media to get your message back out there. So retargeting is basically monitoring who's coming to your website or coming to one of your landing pages that you've got created, and it basically puts a little cookie on their browser. We're capturing their IP address and we're placing a little cookie on them. And so if they come to your website, a third-party website, or they visit a personalized landing page, so we know who they are already because it's a PURL, and then let's say this person visits your website and then they leave. So maybe they didn't complete the call to action. So they land there and they leave. So we have the ability to capture that information, and then we can create a target audience or a custom audience within Facebook or LinkedIn or other websites for that matter. And then all of a sudden the retargeted banner ads are showing up there. So that's a general overview, gives you the idea of it. We can dig in further to that once we schedule your live demo. Okay, now after all of this, we've gone through the campaign, we've got our channels there, they responded, we're nurturing them. We want to see what's going on with the campaigns. So I want to talk to you a little bit about reporting. There's lots of ways to get data out of the system, but generally most of our clients and their clients will choose to go to an online dashboard. So you can connect any URL that you'd like to your studio. So let's say you are abccompanyreports.com. So you register that domain and we'll connect it to your dashboard here. We can even personalize it with your logo. So if you have clients logging in here, they'll see your company name here. They'll log in. You'll give them a username and password that will only share with them their sub-accounts. They'll only see their own information. And once they log in, they're going to see overall a general snapshot of all their active campaigns. So this is our standard view. I'm going to take you through a few slides here that's the standard view, and then we'll talk about customizing this. So in the standard view, we might look at today's activity. We've had 67 visitors today. One of those people actually filled out a form. These are all the active campaigns you'll see. So you have different programs that are going, and those will be listed here. And then this is your general engagement numbers here. So how many recipients, who's actually done something that we're tracking, how many have visited, one or more of these program websites here or landing pages, and then how many of those have actually filled out survey forms. And you'll see here I have a date range of about a month and a half here. You can fill in any date range you want, and these numbers will change. Now, let's say I want to drill down into one of these programs. I can drill into it and see the detail of the program. And so when we get to the next step, you drill down, you'll be able to see all of your outbound media that you're using. So maybe it's an email campaign, or you've included text or voice messaging, or maybe there's direct mail involved in it as well. So with the direct mail, that would be listed here too. And then so I can click on any one of these and drill down into what's happening behind the email. How many emails have we sent, and what's the performance of those? Same thing with the microsite. I might want to just get right to who's landing on my microsite. This gives me my overview. So this is what it will look like for the detailed email statistics. So I've got, in this one, it was actually a trade show campaign, and we sent out an email asking, who's coming? Are you coming? Do you want to meet with us while you're there? That was our first touch. If you didn't respond to that, then we're going to ask you a second time, and a third, and a fourth, and a fifth. So about 5 weeks before the show actually started, we started the activity of trying to get people in our booth ahead of time. Very effective. And with the reports here, you'll be able to see who was on your list, who opened it, who clicked through, who marked you as spam. And any one of these numbers, you can drill down and see the detailed list of the people that met that. And when you do drill down, well, actually, let me show you here. We've got our microsite activity. It'll show you who's been on each page, how many visitors, the form responders. You can drill down again into any of these numbers, which links you have there. It's all very detailed. We can get all the way down to an individual contact level. And so when you click all the way through to one person's name, you're going to get a rich report here that shows us who they are. Their key contact information will be there. You'll also have an activity timeline. So if we scroll down here, you'll be able to see, what they did, what pages they landed on, what links they clicked on, what emails they've opened. All of their activities would be found here. And if desired, you can allow for the user to even edit the data directly through the contact profile view. So you would turn on enable editing, and then maybe through a phone call or something, they gathered some of this information, they want to fill it in.
Your secret word is socks.
And then the last thing in terms of reporting is those were our standard reports. However, we do have the ability to display reports in any way, shape, or fashion that you'd like. So if you have special reporting needs, we've got a tile-based dashboard. You can just tell us, this is the data that I need, this is the view that I need, I want it in a chart or a map, or maybe you have data that's sitting in a third-party system, such as sales results. So this many appointments were conducted, and this is the sales that we made, and you want to feed that data from a third-party system in here and have it visualized all in one place. That's all possible too. And then just last couple of areas I want to cover. What I've been talking about so far is an example of kind of marketing automation, but throughout, our customer list, we've got tons of different use cases. So we have customers, we actually want to refer to it as a communication automation platform, because it's not just for marketing. So these are some marketing examples here: trade shows and events, fundraising, but we've got clients using it for a recruitment portal. We've got self-promotion campaigns. There is really, anytime you need the ability to track and monitor what's going on, whether that's marketing or not, you can use the studio to do that. One of the really coolest kind of newer offerings that we have is the ability to provide templates. If you want to provide a web storefront for your customers to come in and order a campaign, and you've pre-configured it, you've already set up, here's your campaign, you can just go in and personalize it to you. They can basically select a campaign, make their edits to it, place it in a cart, and launch that particular campaign. So we can get into more details. I can show you actual live examples of that on a real live demo. So just to wrap everything up, in summary, MindFire is a wonderful technology company. We've got lots of support for you. We will teach you how to use it, how to configure campaigns. We do a lot of hand-holding. We've got an amazing reputation for customer support. We provide you all the training that you'll need. You can either do your training online, or you can, come to us for a 2-day training workshop and really, get in and learn it quickly. We've got lots of tools for success. We offer you lots of case studies and rebrandable sales presentation materials, lots of hands-on strategy. You can call and just brainstorm with us. So we truly are your partner to help you grow your revenue. And the last thing here is pro services. If you're in a situation where you don't really want to build campaigns, you just want to go out there and either use the technology to support your own growth, or you want to just go out and focus on selling campaigns, we've got a full professional services department who can build everything for you. So we'll just spec it out for you, provide you a quote, and you can use us for that service as well. So thank you so much for your time. I hope that overview was enough to want to have you dig in a little further. If you want some more information on pricing, or you want to schedule a live demo, just contact our main sales line. Here's the phone number. You can hit option 1 for sales, or just give us an email.